Please like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Hi. So in high school, I had not had any boyfriends whatsoever, at all, whatsoever, even a little. And the closest I came was I had platonic male best friends who people would think we were dating for like a second before I had to be like, no, we're not. But my favorite moment was between when they thought we were dating and I had to say, no, we're not. Because that was the closest thing I had to a boyfriend. So I get to freshman year of college, and I'm sort of thinking, this is where I will meet the nerdy man of my dreams. And it will be so real. And freshman year, first party, there's this guy. He's in sort of a knot of people. He's wearing a velvet jacket, and he has a pompadour, looks like Elvis. And he's doing magic tricks for this little knot of people. And I'm like, that's the one. And I head over, and we hit it off. We talk about books, which is the way I knew how to flirt. And he was so different than the boys I knew in high school. He likes art history and Morrissey, and and the best part about him, he's not just a magician, he's a really good magician. He had won the Junior Magic Olympics in high school. That's a real thing. And he had also given a trick to David Copperfield that David Copperfield was currently using in his road show. He was the real deal. And the absolute best part was he thought everything I said was fascinating. And we spent 3 straight days together, and I was like, we didn't kiss, but there were all these moments when we were gonna, and I was like, when it happens, it will be amazing. And this is what it feels like to fall in love for the first time, you know? And on the 4th day, there was a candlelight vigil for the Defense of Marriage Act on campus, sort of a candlelight vigil in support of gay marriage. And it's really romantic. We're like snuggled next to each other with like candles, and they're lit. And he says, I have to tell you something. And I think I'm gay. Now, what I should have done at that moment was go, okay, cool, now I know, and we're friends now. And instead, I thought to myself, we're so close he can tell me anything. And I say, I will be here for you while you figure this out. And so we keep hanging out, and we hang out a lot, and everyone on campus thinks we're dating. And I don't tell them that we're not. And we spend nights in his dorm room not doing anything. I wish we were, but we're not. But we hold each other, and it's beautiful. And he hasn't been able to tell people he's gay. And then it's going to be Parents' Weekend, and he doesn't want to tell his parents. And he says, will you be my girlfriend for Parents' Weekend? And I say, of course. And so Parents' Weekend happens. His mom hugs me really hard. I think she sort of knew, and I was like her last great hope, you know. And I get to introduce him to my parents, and I'm really proud to introduce my parents to my boyfriend. And we've already been like this, and I know it's not real, but it feels so real. I mean, we are so in sync that at parties he does magic tricks, and I got to the point where I could do his patter, his monologue that, a magician does while he's doing his tricks. I could do that for him while he did the tricks. That was how sort of together we were. And finally, we'd been hanging out for a month before I tried to really kiss him. And I leaned in, we were on his dorm bed, and he stopped me, and he said, I love you. You know this is pretend, right? And I said, yeah, obviously, right, of course. And I get up off his bed, and I go back to my room, and I don't go back. And he stays away from me. He knows I'm hurt. And 3 weeks later, he comes to my room and knocks on my door and says, listen, David Copperfield's in town. And I have 2 tickets in the second row, and my trick is in this show, and I really want you there. Will you come with me? And I say, of course, absolutely. So we both get dressed up. We both get dressed up in velvet. And And we go to this theater, and there are all these amazing, famous magicians in the first row who are like kind of quiet behind-the-scenes magicians, and he introduces me to all of them. And he doesn't say I'm his girlfriend, but he keeps his hand on the small of my back. And I can tell the way they're all smiling at me that they think I'm his girlfriend. And the show starts, and it's awesome. It's David Copperfield. It keeps not being his trick and not being his trick, Ash's trick. And I keep waiting for his trick, and he says, not yet, not yet. And then it's the very end of the show, and Copperfield comes out and sort of winks at Ash in the second row, and he's got short sleeves on, and he's got a white piece of paper, and he's cutting it up into little pieces. And he starts talking about how when he was a little kid in New Jersey, he always wanted it to be a snow day. And he just throws his hand out in this one little gesture, and it starts snowing from his hand. And I turn to Ash, and I'm like, this is your trick. And he's like, yeah. And then David Copperfield does another bigger motion, and suddenly the lights are on in the audience, and there's no machines, but it starts snowing in the audience. And it's just blowing snow everywhere, like a snowstorm. And there's nothing, you can see all the way up to the ceiling. And everyone's getting up, and we're like catching it and like trying to eat it. And we're acting like we're 10 years old. And Ash is just sitting there like very pleased like this. And it's so gorgeous. And I know it's a trick, and I don't know how he does it, but it feels so good, and I just want it to last a little bit longer. Thank you.